so you want to know about the house. Over the past few weeks, I've gotten questions from friends, family, friends of family, family friends, people I'm not even a little bit related to, asking me all about the house. And I can't really blame them. I mean, it's a cool house. Certainly the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. And if the people want to live vicariously through my DIY dreams, then who am I to deny the people? I mean, it's not every day you get to work on a house that's 100 years old. Unless you're me. And then it is every day. You just missed that whole thing. A gentleman in a forklift just dropped that off. That's my roof. More on that next week. Or whenever I get to you. As it turns out, moving's like a lot of work. Buying and selling the house, packing and unpacking, making new friends over here, finding the grocery store, finding contractors for all the things that your inspector flagged and you dubbed to be, quote, future Sarah's problem. Now, speaking firmly as future Sarah, I don't know why past Sarah thought we'd be able to start a YouTube channel on day one, but then again, she's always been the more ambitious between the pair of us. But just because we haven't been uploading doesn't mean I don't have stuff for you. We have a ton of updates to clue you in on. But in order to do so, you're just going to have to... One second. But if you want to hear about what we're doing, you're just going to have to come with me while I work. Because while we're in the hottest days of summer right now, my mind's pretty firmly on winter and all the things we're going to have to do before the cold hits. Are you coming? Now, one of the first things we ended up having to do wasn't even on our list at all. So let that be a lesson to everybody out there who's thinking about buying a house. We had a very good realtor, a very good inspector, and because we'd already fixed up our last house, we kind of knew what to look for with this one. But even so, we totally missed that our washer was on the way out. It gave out about a week in, and there was a solid month there where we were doing laundry at everybody else's house. I was throwing in loads at Easter dinner. Marie was throwing in loads at my parents. Let's just say we were really testing the limits of my entire wardrobe. Thankfully, we were gifted a new washer and dryer as a very generous housewarming present. Otherwise, that would have been a really nasty, unexpected expense. Welcome to the workshop. This is my favorite room in the house. Actually, I have a lot of favorite rooms in the house, but this one is one of the leading reasons we bought this house to begin with. It's a major upgrade from the paver patio I was using in the last house, which we built, and the shed that was always filled to the brim and couldn't really be worked in, which we also built. But there's lots of room to grow down here, and I've already started by treating myself to some new tools and inheriting some old ones, which is pretty good because we're going to need them. Now, I'm not going to spend too long telling you everything we need to get done down here because it's a lot. But the long and short of it is we need to insulate quite a few areas here. And then once we insulate, we're going to have to get a radon mitigation system. Otherwise, once we seal everything off, we're probably going to poison ourselves. We'd rather not do that. Plus, the water heater's at the end of its life, and then the furnace is on its 51st winter. And honestly, it's still kicking. It's doing fine, but I'd rather not risk it not kicking anymore. So we'll probably upgrade that, and while we're upgrading it, we'll also probably add air to it because, good God, it is hot in this house. And believe me, I know what you're thinking. You don't need air conditioning. I grew up without air conditioning. I did just fine. You live on Lake Michigan. There's a breeze coming in. And trust me, I thought the same thing. I also grew up without air conditioning, and I thought we could tough it out. But truth be told, those summers aren't these summers. Those summers were in the mid-70s most of the time, and they had heat advisories maybe once or twice at the end of August. This summer off the lake, we had 5 heat advisories, and then it was mid-80s for the rest of the time. And that's to say nothing of the days where we couldn't even really have our windows open because of the smoke advisories. I hate to say it, but it seems like more and more air conditioning is becoming a need instead of a luxury. Plus, then you have to throw in the fact that we're working on these super laborious projects and we're sweating all day, and then we host parties with 20 plus people, which we're delighted to do, but It gets hot in here. As much as I wish we could just do as the East Coasters do and keep our windows open to the breeze, I don't think that's a viable option for us. But anyway, none of that is being worked on right now. We'll actually need an HVAC guy for that. And right now, the only contractors we have lined up is somebody for electrical in the attic and the roof, which you saw a little bit of a preview of already. But I'll show you what we're actually working on. Ta-da! Now, this room is not actually at all close to being done, but it's come a very long way. You might remember that there used to be like a marbly wallpaper here, and while we took no issue with the pattern, the walls had definitely seen better days. Glue was seeping through the seams, the edges were just starting to curl up in some places, and there was just like some general aging happening everywhere. So Marie and I, feeling very antsy about all the things we couldn't get our hands on because we needed more professional help, contractors and whatnot, we decided to take on a project that we could do from start to finish. But I think if we had known exactly how long start to finish would take with this wallpaper, we probably would not have started right away. Because see, it started off pretty simply, and the sheets were coming off in one big piece, and it wasn't taking very long. And in fact, at one point, I even said, "Oh man, we're gonna have a green living room like next week." It turned out that underneath that really easy layer, we found that there were a couple more layers staring us down, and those proved to be a little bit harder. These layers took hours of spraying and scraping and peeling and sweating, to the point where we're now on our 4th month of scraping this room, and we probably still have another month or so to go before we can even think about actually painting. Because it turns out, actually, I want this on the record for when future Sarah and Marie decide they want wallpaper in the house, we have this to look back on. So there was like this top vinyl layer, which came off easy peasy. Great big sheets, no complaints there. It did have a layer of glue underneath it, but that wasn't the worst. You just got it a little wet, and that also came off really easy. The real beast was these guys here. So this had a layer of paint on it on top of it. So for those keeping track at home, that's vinyl, glue, paint, and then this papery stuff on the back, which actually pretty cute pattern, but this is from like, I don't know, the 40s or the 50s, and it came off in flakes. It took forever just to get these little things off the wall. They would stick to the floor, they would stick to your shoes, stick to everything in the house. And before you ask, yes, we sprayed it with a bunch of stuff, we scored it, we steamed it. If there's a trick out there for wallpaper, we have tried it. It just takes a lot of time to do this kind of project. The real truth about renovation that they don't show you on HGTV is that you still have to go live your life. We both work full time. We have friends and family that we're very involved with. We have lives outside of this house. So for us, home renovation looks like a couple hours on the weekend and maybe a little bit during the week if we're not super tired. But here's the hint. We usually are super tired. It takes forever. It takes ages, but we don't plan on going anywhere. We want to be here for a really long time. So we're going to take the time it takes to do it right and make sure that it looks really good when we're done. And by God, it is going to look good when we're done. Of course, it doesn't help that we have a million other little things happening while we're trying to do these big projects. Like, for example, around Memorial Day, Oliver got out, started running around the entire property, completely oblivious to this major road we have in the front yard. So we had to stop everything and build a little run for him in the backyard, which looked a little something like this. And then midway through the summer, the fan motor went out in Marie's room. And because it's so hot and we don't have AC, we took some time to go take care of that, which I maintain went really well and totally didn't make anybody cry. I lost the screw. Who needs instructions? What is this? There's not a single ground wire in this whole thing. Is this a ground wire?
It might be.
I don't think it is.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't feel good.
Do we need a break?
I need a lunch break. those fingies in there. Expert technique. Hey, we did it!
Hell yeah!
But that's just the nature of these things. This isn't some project house where I can just not go if I don't feel like working on it this day. This is my house, and I have to feel good living in it. Plus, we also have to do all the normal homeowner things like mowing a half acre of lawn with a dinky little lawnmower that doesn't have enough juice to get the whole property. And all of that is to say nothing of the admin and the logistical stuff that goes into a project like this. I'm talking budgeting and planning and designing and sourcing materials. There are suppliers in my bookmarks bar that you didn't even know exist. I've got spreadsheets on spreadsheets. I've got Pinterest boards on Pinterest boards. By the way, if you're interested in seeing what the vision is going to be, I do have a Pinterest board. I guess I could link that here, and you can take a little peek and see what we're working on. We're still about 5 to 10 years out from like the vision happening, but I mean, it's fun to think about in the meantime. It kind of sounds like I'm complaining, and maybe I am a little bit, but I don't mean to. I don't want to paint a picture of this being easy. Owning a house is without a doubt the hardest thing I do, and that is what I like about it, but I'm never going to just snap my fingers and have my room painted and my pores are cleared and my life is so much better than yours. It's not how it works. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of stress, a lot of extra things in your life that you don't need to think about if you're renting or if you have a house that doesn't need a lot of work. But thankfully, we've got a lot of help. We've got a lot of grit. We have a little bit of knowledge about how to do this stuff and just enough delusion to convince ourselves that we can maybe make this place look pretty phenomenal over the next few years. But until then, we will be scraping wallpaper forever.